It's your fellow Gen Z Brit back again with another timeline video. Today, we're going to be checking out a timeline of 1984 coming from Weird History channel. I'm really excited. So now, obviously, you guys seem to enjoy my reaction to the 1983, the timeline of that. I'll leave a link to that in the video if you want to check that out. But yeah, we're going to see what happened in 1984. So yeah, let's check this out, guys. If you're excited for this one, don't forget to smash the like button and, of course, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. With that being said, let's get straight into this video. Let's go.
1984, a year that had been long associated with the George Orwell novel. Now that the real 1984 was upon us, what type of year was it going to be? Would 1984 be an Orwellian dystopian nightmare, or would 84 be bright, cheery, and nauseating, like a Mary Lou?
You make the call.
Today, we're going to talk about the news, culture, sports, entertainment, and all that was weird in the 80s. This is Timeline.
That 80s vibe.
Today, we're on to 1984. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel. And let us know in the comments below what one of these stories from 1984 you would like to see a full video on. Now, are you ready for 84? Okay, let's make sure we keep our hot side hot and our cool side cool.
It's hot, it's cool. Could be the best tasting lettuce and tomato hamburger ever.
This is 1984.
That advert was so corny, in my opinion.
A good time for crisp hot fry.
Starting off the year, AT&T was forced to break up into 7 smaller regional Baby Bell phone companies on January 1st.
You got any bad news?
Yeah, they told me I was getting laid off this morning.
They don't even try to place these people in the system.
By 2018, like a corporate Galactus, the company had either absorbed or consumed smaller Baby Bell companies, as well as HBO, TBS, CNN, Adult Swim and the Cartoon Network, DC Entertainment, Warner Brothers, New Line Cinema, and soon enough, your soul.
Damn.
Watching the dominoes fall held true, because on January 2nd, Germany's Klaus Friedrich set the world record for domino toppling with a grand total of 281,581 individual pieces. On January 6th,
That is a lot. Wow. That sounds
281,581 individual pieces.
Whoa.
On January 6th, television's crime-fighting helicopter craze started when Blue Thunder debuted. Blue Thunder had a great cast, with a baby-faced Dana Carvey and former NFLers Bubba Smith and Dick Butkus. 3 weeks later, when America asked the question, how much helicopter entertainment are we willing to accept? Airwolf answered when it flew into our TV viewing hearts on January 22nd. 8 years later, long after Airwolf was canceled, the Airwolf helicopter was sold to a German company, where it became an ambulance helicopter.
Crashes.
On June 6th, 1992, the chopper crashed during a thunderstorm, killing all 3 crew on board.
Rest in
Turning
peace.
to music, the release of Van Halen's 1984 on January 9th changed everything for the band. They got a year's worth of chart-topping singles, starting with Jump, and ending with the release of Hot for Teacher on October 27th.
Hot for
Eventually,
Teacher.
egos and the success of 1984 destroyed that band. And by July of 1985, Sammy Hagar had replaced Diamond Dave, and that original Van Halen magic was lost forever.
It certainly is a big one.
Damn.
It's a very big puppy.
Van Halen or Halen, however you say their name, like they seem to be quite popular during this time. Egos were the reason they broke up. Interesting.
Was lost forever.
It certainly is a big one. It's a very
the
big
beef?
puppy. Fun.
Where's the beef?
Some hamburger places
seeing
give you a
you.
lot less beef on a lot of bun.
Where's the beef?
Staying with fast food,
Where is
4
the
days
beef?
later, McDonald's Ray Kroc.
Wasn't that like a popular thing as well? Like everybody just kept saying, "Where's the beef?" You guys let me know if that's true.
Where's the beef?
Staying with fast food, 4 days later, McDonald's Ray Kroc, the man who helped build McDonald's into the multi-billion-dollar fast food empire,
wow.
died on January 14th. Kroc opened his first McDonald's franchise in 1955 in Chicago. In 1961, he bought out the McDonald's brothers for $2.7 million cash. And by 1965, opened more than 700 restaurants in 44 states. Among the many things that Kroc bought with his fortune were the San Diego Padres. We'll see Los Padres later in the year.
Paul McCartney.
Wait, so there was a McDonald's brothers before McDonald's, and they got bought up by this guy, and then so I'm just thinking, like, if they didn't sell, maybe they could have took. Actually, I don't know. Maybe they didn't have the infrastructure to take their business to the McDonald's levels that we know today. But that's interesting. he died. Rest in peace.
With the San Diego Padres. We'll see Los Padres later in the year.
Paul McCartney and his family had arrived back from Barbados, where he'd been fined £70 for possessing a small amount of cannabis.
Ooh. No, this isn't 1980 repeating itself. On January 15th, almost 4 years to the day after he was busted in Tokyo, Paul McCartney was arrested again for marijuana. Only this time for pot possession, while on vacation in Barbados with his wife Linda. Acting on a tip, Barbados police raided McCartney's vacation house and found 10 grams.
Whatever you think, and whatever you think I've done, this, I'm telling you, this substance, cannabis, is a whole lot less harmful than rum punch, whiskey, nicotine, and glue, all of which are perfectly legal.
While Paul spent 9 days in jail during his Tokyo bust, the couple was only fined $100 by a Barbados judge. Mary Jane, you've come a long way since '84, baby.
Hey, is that true about what you said about cannabis? And even then, it happened to him before. Interesting. He seems like he hasn't learned from his last lesson. He just seems like he doesn't care, to be honest.
Judge. Mary Jane,
Didn't
you've come
care.
a long way since '84, baby. 2 days later, on January 17th, the automotive industry would change forever when stylish Dodge Caravan and the edgy Plymouth Voyager debuted. Dealership lots, the soccer mom trucksters sold like toilet paper in a pandemic. Chrysler even hired magician Doug Henning to pimp an expensive toy. 3 days later, Michael...
Fast forward to what it's like today, it's probably one of the more dominant computers that people have, or the popular.
Jackson's hair caught on fire on January 27th while he was filming a Pepsi commercial. As Jackson walked down a staircase on stage, a spark from the house pyrotechnics landed on his head, which was unwittingly filled with flammable hair product. Heading into February, we go to space. During NASA's space shuttle...
Imagine that could have been the end of Michael Jackson. Could you imagine? That would have been a mad way to go. Thank God they got put out.
Flammable hair product.
Wow.
Heading into February, we go to space. During NASA's space shuttle mission STS-41B on the 7th, astronauts Captain Bruce McCandless and Colonel Robert Stewart made history's first untethered spacewalk. With the aid of 300-pound nitrogen-propelled backpacks, the astronauts made 2 spacewalks during the mission. The first mission lasted 5 hours and 55 minutes, floating a football field's length away from the Space Shuttle Challenger. It was late February when David Vedder, the Houston boy who was confined to a plastic bubble for his entire life due to his severely compromised immune system, died. Vedder wasn't always confined to his bubble, though. NASA built David a hermetically sealed outfit, kind of like an astronaut spacesuit, where he could walk outside without risking infection. But David disliked the suit and only used it 7 times. David was just 12 years old.
I've never heard about that before. Poor boy. I feel so bad.
The suit and only used it 7 times. David was just 12 years old. Moving into March, the United States accused Iraq of using lethal chemical weapons on March 5th against Iran during their 42-month-old war. A statement issued by the State Department said that the weapons were used in violation of the Geneva Protocol of 1925, which Iraq had agreed to in 1931. We go to Melbourne, Australia, where we find a notable first.
Australia?
On March 28th, Zoe Leyland, the first baby born from an embryo frozen after in vitro fertilization, was born. The embryo had been frozen for 2 months. Not very long by today's standards, but it was unheard of at the time. Just for perspective, we flash forward to November of 2017, when Emma Wren Gibson was born. She currently holds the frozen embryo record. She was on ice for 25 years.
What?
In late March, William Potts...
What? How does that even work? She was on embryo... Oh, okay, I get how that would work. They obviously did it way before, and then decided to have her later on. I don't know. Am I misunderstanding it? I'm pretty sure that just means it was it was there for a while, and then when they actually started the process, it wasn't that long. I don't know, guys. I don't know how this stuff works.
Embryo record. She was on ice for 25 years. In late March, William Potts boarded an airplane bound for Miami from New Jersey on March 27th. He gave the flight attendant a note, identifying himself as Lieutenant Spartacus with the Black Liberation Army, and he demanded the plane fly to Havana, Cuba. Potts told the pilot, "We are all going to hell or Cuba." When the plane landed, Cuban authorities put the lid on Potts, charging him with air piracy, and he served 13 years in prison.
What? That's so random.
Welcome to television's unchallenged authority on wealth, prestige, and success. It's another dazzling lifestyles of the rich and famous.
The Sport of Kings has a new champion. Sly Stallone asks, anyone for polo?
Some better luck news. NYPD Detective Robert Cunningham was eating lunch at South Pizzeria on March 30th when he jokingly asked waitress Philip Penzo if they could split the potential winnings of his lottery ticket instead of tipping her.
The lotto jackpot was $6 million. I said, Phyllis, to get your tip, I'll split my ticket with you.
I picked 3 numbers and he picked 3.
And we hit.
2 days later, Cunningham called Penzo, trying to convince her that they had just won $6 million. She initially didn't believe him due to the fact that it was April Fool's Day. Their haul, $287,715 annually for 21 years each. This was no April Fool's Day prank. On April 1st, tragedy struck the music world when Marvin Gaye was shot and killed by his father.
Marvin Gaye Jr. was taken to California Hospital where he was pronounced dead from gunshot wounds at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
The shooting was brought on by Gaye defending his mother from Marvin Gaye Sr. as the two had been arguing over a missing insurance policy letter. Gaye beat and kicked his father into his bedroom. Moments later, Gaye Sr. entered his son's bedroom with a .38 caliber pistol and shot the singer in the heart at point-blank range. Marvin Gaye was declared dead on arrival at the hospital 1 day before his 45th birthday.
What? That's wild. Huh? You'd shoot your own son over an insurance? What? That sounds so... that sounds so stupid. Like, I'm dumbfounded by that to the point where I didn't even feel like that can't be the real story. Like, surely there's more to it than that, because that sounds crazy. And then he died because... And that guy was what's his, Marvin Gaye, right? That's a popular individual. That's wild. These timelines, it's like so much will happen in a year. You don't even know, like, what happened. Like, until you look back at it, like, you don't even realize just how much happened. Because all of this stuff is just like, whoa, this is random stuff that I was not expecting to find out. Crazy.
It was declared dead on arrival at the hospital 1 day before his 45th birthday. Other sad news in April, iconic landscape photographer Ansel Adams died on April 22nd. Ansel's work and his persistent advocacy for environmental conservation helped expand the national park system. President Jimmy Carter awarded Adams with the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1980.
Rest in peace.
Turning to music.
Never heard of him, by the way, but it seems like a very influential figure.
On May 1st, Mick Fleetwood, drummer for Fleetwood Mac, filed for bankruptcy. The drummer said his financial downfall was caused by bad real estate investments. And a cocaine addiction that he estimates cost him $8 million. When Fleetwood did the math, he estimated 7 miles of the stuff went up his nose. Take that, Stevie Nicks. An out-of-court settlement was announced on May 7th for veterans who suffered injury from exposure.
Wild. What happened to just say no? You know, you got Paul McCartney out here getting arrested for why didn't he just say no? Huh? That's all he has to do, just say no.
He estimated 7 miles of the stuff went up his nose.
7 miles is crazy.
That
sounds, I don't even know the full story of that, but just from a little snippet there, that's sounding crazy. Guys, would let me know about that? That's what? What?
State benefits, such as food stamps, public assistance, and government pensions.
Justice
8 days
them,
later,
man.
after a year of battling an extremely rare type of lung cancer, comedian Andy Kaufman died in Los Angeles on May 16th. His last public appearance was at the premiere of My Breakfast with Blassie, several months earlier in March, where he showed up with a mohawk, looking gaunt and acting more reserved than usual. Kaufman then flew to the Philippines, where as a last resort, he received 6 weeks' worth of psychic surgery treatments, which Kaufman soon realized was a scam. In mid-May, after 9 months of recording and studying Press Your Luck, Michael Larson broke the record for the largest one-day total ever won on a game show.
Oh, wow.
136 on the line. Stop at 4,000.
Larson won $110,237 by gaming the game, memorizing the blinking light patterns to avoid whammies while almost always landing on the bonus boxes. Show producers caught this while this episode was being filmed. CBS initially refused to pay Larson, but they couldn't find a clause in the game's rules to disqualify him.
Right, you can't blame a brother for gaming the game. That joke's on you. Do better with your rules next time, isn't it? Give him the money. He deserves it. If he did that well, give him the money, man. That's insane, though. That's actually insane.
They refused to pay Larson, but they couldn't find a clause in the game's rules to disqualify him. Early in June, Bruce Springsteen released his 7th studio album, Born in the USA, on June 4th. Springsteen earned a Grammy for Best Male Rock Vocal Performance with Dancing in the Dark. The Boss lost the Album of the Year honors to Lionel Richie's Can't Slow Down. But at least Richie gave us the video for Hello, which still is one of the creepiest stalker-themed music videos ever. Speaking of creepy...
This is hot, Ray. Symmetrical book stacking, just like the Philadelphia Man's Tribulance of 1947.
You're right, no human being would stack books like this.
Listen.
Okay.
You smell something?
In one of sport's greatest winning streaks, Edwin Moses won his 100th 400-meter hurdle race on June 16th at the Budapest Grand Prix track and field meet.
Impressive.
In a streak that started in 1977 and ended in 1987, Moses racked up 22 more 400-meter hurdle wins, along with 2 gold Olympic medals. Bored with killing it on the track, Moses soon shifted his focus to bobsledding. He competed as the brakeman for the U.S. bobsled team at the 1990 World Cup in Winterberg, Germany. Radio, on June 18th, Alan Berg was fatally shot outside his home by 2 members of the white supremacist terror organization called The Order. At the trial for his murder, prosecutors contended that Berg was singled out because he was Jewish, and his personality provoked the anger of white supremacists. Director Oliver Stone's 1988 film adaptation of Eric Bogosian's play Talk Radio.
That's mad. That's insane.
Director Oliver Stone's 1988 film adaptation of Eric Bogosian's play Talk Radio would later draw inspiration and storylines from Berg's life. Now for a notable movie first. After complaints about violence and gore in films such as Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and Gremlins, the Motion Picture Association of America modified their film rating system on July 1st with a PG-13 rating. Suggested by Steven Spielberg, the PG-13 rating came with the advisory that parents are strongly cautioned to give special guidance for attendance of children under 13. The first film to be released with this rating was Red Dawn a month later on August 10th, 1984. Wolverines! Not only were movie ratings changing, but so too the drinking laws. On July 17th, President Reagan signed the National Minimum Drinking Age Act, a law requiring states to raise their drinking age to 21 or face a 10% cut to their federal highway funding. Every state complied. In late...
Yeah, because before some, from what I remember seeing somewhere, like not every state was 21, somewhere younger than that, like 18. So I hear it, like everyone getting up to 21. It definitely seemed like Reagan at this time and his wife were just big on like drugs and like, it seemed like the mindset had changed around drinking and drugs. Like they were trying to step on it a little bit more.
Or face a 10% cut to their federal highway funding. Every state complied. In late July, America let the games begin as the 1984 Summer Olympics kicked off at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum.
In the name of the athletes, I promise that we shall take part in the Olympic Games, respecting and abiding by the rules that govern them.
Opening ceremonies.
He was just reading off a teleprompter, like that, just like probably a giant teleprompter, and it sounded so contrived. Like at least make it look more natural. But I guess he's an athlete, he's not a camera person, right?
Respecting and abiding by the rules that govern them.
Opening ceremonies included O.J. Simpson, Sam the Olympic Eagle, Jetpack Guy, and a badass Olympic song by John Williams. These Olympics were considered to be the most financially successful modern Olympics, serving as a model for future games. That said, decades later, we're still waiting for personal jetpack technology. Not cool. While the money was good for the Olympics, not so much for one of its key sponsors, McDonald's. Marketing executives started to worry that the When the U.S. Wins, You Win campaign could backfire when the Soviets, East Germans, and several other communist nations boycotted the games. Team USA had very little competition and proceeded to crush them. Every time an American Olympian medaled, Ronald McDonald had to cough up free food and drinks. Team USA ended up winning 174 medals. While the Soviets didn't participate in the Olympics, they were always on America's minds. While sound checking for his weekly radio address on August 11th at 9:06 a.m., President Reagan was recorded saying,
"My fellow Americans, I'm pleased to tell you today that I've signed legislation that will outlaw Russia forever. We begin bombing in 5 minutes."
It was Reagan's idea of a joke. He was just improvising off-air with National Public Radio audio engineers before he gave a speech announcing a signature on the Equal Access Act.
And now, here is the host
How
of
did I even
Jeopardy,
get leaked?
Alex Trebek.
Jeopardy.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of all of us, welcome to America's favorite answer and question game, Jeopardy!
For you toy nerds out there,
let me know if you guys want me to see that as well. I think some of you guys are mentioning I should check it out. I've never watched this before.
To America's favorite answer and question game, Jeopardy!
For you toy nerds out there, Transformers made its television debut on September 17th in conjunction with Hasbro's toy line of the same name. It would take less than a year before the Transformers would crush the transforming robot toy market competition, GoBots. Meanwhile, the cartoon would go on to produce 3 animated spin-offs, 3 comic book titles, and a feature-length animated movie.
What was that universal greeting again? Never mind, I remember. Ba weep, grana weep, ninibang.
Transformers the movie would debut on August 8th, 1986. No one cares about the Michael Bay movies. This would also mark the last role for the legendary Orson Welles, who voiced Unicron.
I will provide you with a new body, a new troops to command, and nothing.
Welles would pass away 1 year later on October 10th, 1985.
Ooh.
September of 1984 would see new TV shows that would shape 80s television.
Now, I'm telling you, you are going to try as hard as you can. And you're going to do it because I said so. I am your father. I brought you in this world, and I'll take you out.
Miami Vice.
5,000 street corners in greater Miami. And Gumby here's got to pick ours.
I need to see that movie.
I don't believe in coincidences, especially when they involve murder or attempted murder.
Turning to sports, Sparky Anderson's Detroit Tigers won the 1984 World Series in 5 games over the San Diego Padres. The series was informally known as the Fast Food Fall Classic, with Ray Kroc owning the Padres and Domino's Pizza founder Tom Monahan owning the Detroit Tigers. That was until 1992 when the Tigers were bought by Mike Ilitch. Ilitch was also the founder and CEO of Little Caesars Pizza. Tigers, pizza, pizza. On October 26th, James Cameron's second film, The Terminator, premiered.
Where is she?
Look, it may take a while. You want to wait? There's a bench over there.
I'll be back.
Iconic line. I'll be back. I'll be back with a whole
Flash
car.
forward to 1991, when Terminator 2 Judgment Day debuted.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. You forgot to say please.
During the filming of T2, James and star Linda Hamilton would start a relationship only to have it end in 1999 with a juicy $50 million divorce settlement. Hasta la vista, savings. President Reagan tried.
That joke. Oh my gosh. When I'm watching these commentary videos and commenters make corny jokes like that, I swear I'm this close to disliking the video. Like, that's just, I can't believe he said that.
$1 million divorce settlement. Hasta la vista, savings.
That's why.
President Reagan trounced Walter Mondale, the Democratic candidate, on November 6th in the 1984 U.S. presidential election. Reagan would sweep 49 out of 50 states with almost 59% of the popular vote over Mondale and his running mate, Geraldine Ferraro.
Wow, clean sweep.
You're imagining things.
Nightmare on.
Did people like Reagan as much because it seemed like he won it again? Like, did people actually like him as a president? What did you guys think? Let me know.
Ferraro.
There's something wrong with you. You're imagining things.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Do you believe in the boogeyman?
No.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
McDonald's served its 50 billionth hamburger on November 20th, but it wasn't grilled by some high-as-balls teenager. That honor went to McDonald's president and CEO, Ed Renzi, who flipped the patty at New York City's Grand Hyatt Hotel.
Oh, why is this clown so creepy, though? Guys, am I the only one that thinks this clown would like how do they get away with having a clown as their main, like, mascot? Because it just looks creepy. Like, when I think of this, I just think of It. Obviously, It is probably came out way later than this, but it's, like, I can't believe a clown. Maybe actually back then people actually liked clowns. Now that I'm thinking about it, like, were you guys ever scared of clowns? I feel like being scared of clowns is probably more. It could be more of a recent thing. I don't know, but I hate that clown.
In San Bernardino, California, 36 years earlier. On the same day as America celebrated the billionth burger, scientists began searching for extraterrestrial intelligence. Tom Pearson of San Francisco State University signed a deal with California's Secretary of State, establishing the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, or SETI, which included 100 scientists among its ranks. 5 days later, on November 25th, 52-year-old William Schroeder became the second human recipient of the Jarvik 7, an artificial heart named after its inventor, Dr. Robert Jarvik, MD.
Whoa.
18 days after the transplant, Schroeder suffered the first in a series of strokes, eventually leaving him in a vegetative state. Schroeder died on August 7th, 1986, of a lung infection, 620 days after receiving the Jarvik 7. In late November...
I was thinking that was going to end well, but that ended terribly. Whoa, rest in peace to him, man. Wow.
Musician Bob Geldorf assembled 37 other musicians in a Notting Hill recording studio to record Do They Know It's Christmas, intended on helping famine relief in Ethiopia. Flash forward to December 3rd when the song was released, and it went to #1 in 16 countries, raising over £8 million. New York was the first state to pass a law which required vehicle occupants to wear seatbelts, a law that came into effect on December 1st.
Cats have 9 lives, children only 1. Help them live that life. Buckle them into a car seat. No one wants a child to become a memory.
Effects of the poison. In mid-December, Howard Cosell retired from the Monday Night Football broadcasting booth. Our favorite Cosell moment came 8 years earlier, during a Baltimore Colts and Dallas Cowboys broadcast, where Cosell introduced nachos to America. A concession stand in Texas Stadium sent up a plate to Cosell, and he couldn't stop talking about them. Man, nachos do sound good right now. See? Just after Christmas on December 27th, geologist Roberta Score found a Martian meteorite while snowmobiling in the Antarctic.
Whoa.
Renamed Allen Hills 84001, the meteorite is thought to be one of the oldest Martian meteorites, proposed to have crystallized from molten rock over 4 billion years ago. And it's thought to have originated on Mars during a period when water existed on the planet's surface. A notable birth, the chosen one.
I mean, that's a mad find. If that whole storyline about the history of that rock is real, I don't know how these things work, but I mean, it sounds crazy. It sounds
Mars during a period when water existed on the planet's surface. A notable birth, the chosen one. LeBron James was born on December 30th in Akron, Ohio, near Cleveland, a city that suffered decades of sports heartbreak. At age 13, James would first dunk in a basketball game. And on June 19th, 2016, James won One for the Land, breaking a 52-year championship drought for the city of Cleveland.
Cleveland! This is for you!
1984 would end on a somber music note.
Well, no, he's just not in Cleveland no more, LeBron James, right? He's left. So, yeah, that's tough. That's tough for Cleveland there, man.
This is for you!
1984 would end on a somber music note, when on the afternoon of December 31st, Def Leppard's drummer Rick Allen and his girlfriend were in a car accident on a country road near Sheffield, England. Allen tried to pass another car, misjudged a curve in the road, and crashed his Corvette C4 into a stone wall, flipping the car several times. Because his seatbelt was improperly fastened, it tore off his left arm at the shoulder. Doctors were able to reattach the limb, but the operation failed due to infection. Allen didn't let that deter him. 3 years later, the one-armed drummer returned with Def Leppard on August 3rd in 1987 with the album Hysteria. It was the band's first #1 album and their highest performing release ever. 1985 was ready to hit 80s prime, a year when we...
Hey, this is why we gotta be wearing the seatbelts, guys. Even in this time, people weren't really trying to wear their seatbelts, and I'm sure they would have probably used that as promo to get people to wear seatbelts.
Ever. 1985 was ready to hit 80s prime, a year when we would see a young boxer take his first professional fight, rock and roll being put in the hot seat, and a new game system take America by storm. But you're gonna just have to wait until next time. Coming soon, 1985. So what
1985 next, guys.
What do you miss about 1984?
You guys let me know. How did this one resonate with you? What things stood out to you the most? This was an interesting year. A lot happened. A lot of tragedies happened. A lot of tragedies happened in quite a lot of these. Wow. So much happened in here that I never knew about. Let me know about any of the careers I might have had, guys. Of course, let me know if as well something else happened that you think should have been mentioned that wasn't mentioned. And yeah, again, let me know how some of these affected you. If you remember any of these, if you were alive during some of these things, let me know how that affected you. But guys, look, of course, you guys that watch all the way to the end, you guys already know. Not only do I love all of you, but you guys are the realest of the real. You guys are the ones I do this for. You guys are the ones that don't even realize how much you support me, keep me going. Guys, comment down a purple hearts. I know who my real ones are. Or hashtag flex are for those of you guys that don't have emojis. And as always, guys, I've been the boy JayFlex. Actually, like I said, sorry, if you want to check out the Thailand 1983 that I did before this one, check that out. Stay tuned for more. But guys, that being said, I'm your boy JayFlex, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.